in 2009, due to very high costs associated with being a pedigree sheep breeder, I decided to look at different options for my farm. So on the 1st of January 2010, my farm underwent conversion for 2 years, and it was fully organic on the 1st of January 2012.
Hello and welcome to the Beef Edge, the Teagasc Beef Podcast, for all your latest news, information and advice for Irish beef farmers. I'm Catherine Egan, and this week I'm joined by future beef farmer Kay O'Sullivan from County Cork to discuss her organic beef finishing system, management on the farm currently, and the upcoming National Beef Walk taking place on her farm. Kay, you're very welcome. When did you first convert to organics, and what was your thinking at the time behind converting?
So in 2009, due to very high costs associated with being a pedigree sheep breeder, I decided to look at different options for my farm. So during the summer of 2009, I would have attended Teagasc organic farm walks, and what I got, I suppose, from the walks, the take-home message would have been premium prices and low costs. So then during the autumn of 2009, I would have completed the 25-hour organic farming course, and this actually gave me a great insight as to what would be involved should I convert to organics. So on the 1st of January 2010, my farm underwent conversion for 2 years, and it was fully organic on the 1st of January 2012 and certified there with the Organic Trust.
That's great, Kay, and can you give an overview of your organic farming system?
Yeah, so I suppose the main enterprises then at the farm would be suckler to beef, sheep, lambs, and occasionally then I would have cereals. There's 15 acres of red clover silage, there's 5 acres of red start, and multi-species now form the main part of reseed during the year.
And since you started on the road of organics over 15 years ago, how has your system changed over the years, or what would you say were the main changes for your farm?
I no longer have the pedigree sheep. I do have a commercial sheep flock. I have my own markets now for the lamb, and anything surplus is sold to the factory. I have increased my suckler cow numbers. I finish cattle. The cattle are finished on red clover silage and red start, and I've also started growing multispecies. The farm has become financially viable, which is another great thing. I don't have big meal bills or any fertilizer.
And in relation to breeding on the farm, Kay, how has breeding season gone for you so far this year?
Yeah, I suppose breeding will finish there now at the end of July. I suppose just at the moment we're just picking up any repeats, so I've been very happy with it this year.
Kay, you're using 100% AI. How do you find identifying cows and bringing them in for AI?
Yeah, so I would identify cows in heat prior to the start of the breeding season. They would be recorded, and then I would watch them very closely again from 17 days onwards. I also use mineral supplementation, which is a high mag, high fertility mineral lick. The cows would have a very good quality grass, and I would be observing the cows then during the breeding season 4 to 5 times during the day.
And do you use tail paint or vasectomized bull or anything to help with identifying cows?
Tail paint I find don't actually last. Yes, I have used it. I have used the patches as well. Haven't worked, but I think just when I'm out there with them all the time anyway, I can observe them. Breeding
performance on the herd is very good, I suppose, as a result maybe. How do you maintain that tight calving spread and achieve the 355-day calving interval on your farm?
Yeah, well, I suppose again, it's all down to, I suppose, observing the cows in heat. Again, as I say, you have to be out there 4 to 5 times a day, and again I would condition score the cows prior to breeding, and they all have a mineral supplementation as well.
And then in relation to the sires that you're using on the farm, Kay, how are you selecting specific sires?
Calving ease is of the utmost importance here on the farm. I suppose over the last number of years I have been working on my replacement index, which is now 149. So this year I am working on my terminal index, and I have selected Nebo AA7452 to just to state him out there. I have had some calves from Nebo on the ground there last year, and they're absolutely super. He has a carcass weight of 9.1 kg and a carcass conformation there of 0.62.
And that's obviously very important, the fact you're in a finishing system. Can you just talk through the finishing system you're operating and what are kind of the key performance targets that you're aiming for within your herd?
You look at, I suppose, going back to, the calf, you need a good milky cow, good quality grass, no stress really on the calf during weaning. The calves or the cattle then for finish are out on red start. We've our fecal samples, they have very good quality silage. And then, obviously they would have come off multi-species then as well prior to going on there, and perhaps even sometimes might even finish off the multi-species as well.
And for cattle that were finished last year, what was kind of your performance targets for those? What kind of carcass weights were they coming into, or what age were they finished at?
Yeah, they would have been finished at between 20 to 21 months, probably carcass weight of 297 to 300 plus.
And you touched on there, Kay, the herd health plan. That's a key part to your system. Can you just talk through the herd health on your farm and what your plan is throughout the year?
Yeah, I suppose to look in an organic system, the animal health is of the utmost importance. So I suppose throughout the year I would be fecal sampling the cows, the calves, the cattle, the sheep of course as well. And obviously if there's a problem it's treated, and if not it's okay. The cows would just have their pre-calving minerals. Then once after calving, then they go on to their high fertility mineral buckets. The calves then of course they would be just fecal sampled. They would be getting RSV, P51 vaccination and their booster there out into August, September, and the cattle then just again they're only just observed there during fecal samples.
And you mentioned there at the start the organic system that you're in with regard there's no fertiliser being used. Grassland management then is obviously a key component on the farm. Can you talk through how you're managing grass on the farm and keeping rotations and grass correct?
Yeah, I suppose I grass walk there every week as part of pasture base. So poor performing paddocks, obviously they would be penciled out and reseeded, in the spring of next year. So all my reseed is now multi-species, and what I find with the multi-species is it is back in rotation again in 14 days. I move my stock every 2 to 3 days. They're in about 2.5 to 3 acre paddocks, and as I say with the multi-species, it's back again within 14 days, and no fertilizer.
And in relation to multi-species, what kind of a seed mix are you using, and how do you go about reseeding that paddock?
How I go about reseeding it is it would be disked first. Then I would actually allow the weeds to germinate, and then the seed is put in then with a one pass, and obviously disked ahead of the one pass. And at that stage, then you're giving the multi-species a great chance to get up ahead of the weeds.
And how do you find cattle performing on the multi-species, or how long are you getting out of those multi-species paddocks?
I would have multi-species in now probably about maybe 2 to 3 years. There's still plenty plantain and chicory in it. So you get about maybe approximately 4 years, and then it just takes over with clover. And of course clover would be very important as well on an organic farm, as it is the main nitrogen fixer.
And you also have red clover on the farm as well. How do you manage to grow that, or how are you managing that on the farm?
It would be cut in and around. I suppose when it is, I suppose I just go back maybe to the point there when it's when it is just maybe sown, and again just before you cut it for the very first time, you allow the red clover to flower. And also when you are cutting it, just to make sure that the blades of the mower are kept high, and then it is left down and given a good wilt for 48 hours. Then I don't allow the rake anywhere. It's not rode in or tedded out, and it's just baled in rows and left down, as I say, for 48 hours to give it a good wilt.
And when you were talking about keeping the blade up, how high are you cutting the red clover?
Yeah, I suppose just a mobile phone off the ground, just the mobile phone off the ground. And just to mention there as well is that after every cut of red clover silage, 2,500 gallons of slurry will be put back in again.
And I suppose that's a key part, really, keeping soil fertility right on the farm, Kay, and that's taking a careful planning for your organic system. How do you work about soil fertility on the farm, or how do you manage it?
Yeah, I suppose pH would be very good now on the farm, in that a lot of lime has gone out over the years. K is good. However, P will have to be worked on, and I'm working on that at the moment by importing slurry. And then soil samples then are taken throughout the every 2 years.
And then I suppose in the organic system that you're in, biodiversity and pollinators, they're obviously very evident, especially this time of year. What small actions are you taking on your farm that's having a big impact that perhaps other farmers that's listening might not be in organics, but they could perhaps implement on their farm?
I suppose I have bee scrapes. I leave grassy margins, especially maybe in silage fields. When I've just between the ditches. I also allow a grassy margin of about 1 metre, and I have untrimmed hedges as well.
That's great, Kay. And finally, congratulations, you're hosting this year's National Future Beef Farm Walk on your farm on the 25th of July at 6 p.m. What can farmers that's attending expect to see on the night?
Yeah, on the night, Catherine, we will be looking at financials on the farm. We will be looking at the suckler cows, breeding performance. We will be looking at the cattle. We'll be looking at animal health. We'll look at multispecies. We'll look at red clover. We will look at soil health. We will be looking at a farmyard manure a demonstration, and there'll be much more as well on the evening.
That's great, Kate. It sounds like a great evening, and the best of luck on the night. I'll include the link in the podcast text with further details on the event. Thanks very much, Kay.
Thanks, Catherine.
That's all for this week's episode, and my thanks to Kay for joining me on the show. You can catch up on all other shows and interviews from the Beef Edge podcast on the Teagasc website at teagasc.ie, or you can listen on Apple and Google Podcasts as well as Spotify. Don't forget to rate, review and subscribe so you never miss a show. For all other updates from our beef programme, keep an eye on our Twitter and Facebook pages. Until next time, I'm Catherine Egan, and thanks for listening.